Don't let YouTube decide what information you get. That's your choice. YouTube is deleting our videos and cuts you off from a source of honest reporting. Make sure you don't lose access to NTD's news content, and take a quick moment to subscribe to our newsletter so no matter what happens here, you'll keep your access to a trustworthy news source.
And several GOP members of the Subcommittee on Immigration and Citizenship are calling for a hearing. They want to know if the Biden administration has a plan to stop the surge of migrants at the border. This as 1,600 arrests are made in a single border sector, among them criminals and a previously deported sex offender.
Over 1,600 illegal immigrants were arrested in 3 days in a single Texas border sector. Austin Scarrow, the chief Border Patrol agent for Del Rio sector, says these arrests include more than 25 smuggling cases, 2 criminals, and a convicted rapist who had previously been deported. And there's also a surge in unaccompanied migrant children crossing the border. Just last week, U.S. border agents apprehended over 1,500 migrant youths, and 300 more were taken into custody on Sunday. January also saw a record number for the month and was up nearly 900 youths from December. The White House said last week some children are being held for 4 or more days. The legal maximum is 72 hours. This is prompting GOP members to demand a hearing on the Biden administration's response to the influx of unaccompanied migrant children. But despite the surge, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, says there is no crisis at the border.
The answer is no. I think there is a challenge at the border that we are managing.
But former acting U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security Chad Wolf disagrees. Here he is with the Heritage Foundation Wednesday.
Unfortunately, we are in a crisis along that southwest border, and it's unfortunate because it's a crisis that has been self-imposed.
And along California's southern border, this site appeared on Wednesday at the San Ysidro crossing port in Tijuana. A large group of migrants hoping to enter the country wearing T-shirts and holding banners reading, "Biden, please let us in." It's not clear where the T-shirts came from or who organized or funded the demonstration. The Republicans said the administration has acknowledged the issue by opening an influx facility for children and requesting a list of more facilities that could be used. Facilities aren't running at full capacity because of the pandemic. The House Republicans are calling for proper oversight of the departments overseeing immigration enforcement to determine whether there is a plan to stop the surge of migrants. Reporting by Grace Coulter, NTD News.
A new runoff election has been ordered by a judge in Mississippi, and a notary has been arrested. This after over 3/4 of one town's absentee ballots cast in the June Democratic runoff election were found to be invalid. Judge Jeff Weil said there's evidence of fraud and criminal activity in how absentee ballots were handled and counted, and in how certain poll workers acted during the election in Aberdeen, Mississippi. As a result, a new runoff election for the Ward 1 alderman seat is necessary. The judge ruled that 66 of 84 absentee ballots that were cast, or close to 80%, should have never been counted. The declared winner of the seat had won by just 37 votes, while the challenger contested the results in court. The judge said several individuals involved willfully and corruptly violated one or more criminal statutes. U.S. colleges will now be able to push back against Chinese communist censorship on campus. That's because the Senate has just passed a new bill targeting Beijing-funded Confucius Institutes. NTD's Don Tran has the story.
For years, the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, has been using American colleges to spread its influence in the U.S. Confucius Institutes on college campuses supposedly teach Chinese language and culture, but Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana says they're propaganda arms of the Chinese Communist Party.
These institutes, run by the authoritarian government of China, will not allow the free exchange of ideas. They will not allow anyone to talk about the Uyghurs or the people of Tibet or Hong Kong or what happened at Tiananmen Square.
The Senate unanimously passed Kennedy's Confucius Act. It gives U.S. colleges full managerial authority over the Confucius Institutes they host. The bill will require Confucius Institutes to protect academic freedom. It also prohibits them from implementing any foreign law. Before requesting for unanimous consent, Kennedy wanted to make it clear the bill targets the CCP, not the Chinese people.
People of China are wonderful people. They're engaging, they're smart, they have great sense of humor. They've built an extraordinary economy. I wish I could say the same about their authoritarian government, but I can't.
Confucius Institutes are funded and managed in part by a CCP organization called Hanban. According to the National Association of Scholars, there are 72 Confucius Institutes currently operating in the U.S. Don Tran, NTD News.
The Transportation Department's watchdog found that Elaine Chao was up to some unethical business. They asked the Department of Justice to investigate, but the DOJ turned them down. Let's take a look.
A new report from the Transportation Department's Inspector General has come out. It claims that former Secretary Elaine Chao unethically used her office and staff for personal gain. It alleges Chao used her position to promote her family's shipping business. The Inspector General asked the U.S. Attorney in Washington and prosecutors at the DOJ to criminally investigate Chao, but they declined. Chao stepped down from her position earlier this year after the Capitol breach, which she disapproved of. Chao has denied any wrongdoing. She skirted around the allegations, but she claimed in a memo promoting her family was part of her official duties. Her family's shipping business does a lot of business with China. Chao's memo read, Asian audiences welcome and respond positively to actions by the Secretary that include her father in activities when appropriate. The Inspector General didn't see the need to investigate claims Chao redirected DOT grant funds to Kentucky, the state her politician husband represents. But the IG did conclude an investigation into potential misuse was warranted. The report alleges Chao used her political connections to check on a work permit for a student. And the report found Chao ordered her staff to help her father market his biography and edit his Wikipedia page. Chao's family business is the foremost group. According to the Associated Press, department emails show Chao directed her staff to include her family members in high-level meetings during a trip to China she had planned but never went on. The IG report said the Justice Department said there may be ethical issues, but not criminal ones. So the IG's office said it's closing its investigation because no one at the Justice Department is interested in prosecuting her.
And Alabama and Mississippi lawmakers passed bills on transgender issues. This as conservatives fear that the Biden administration's push for LGBTQ policies could result in discrimination against religious people. Mississippi's House and Senate overwhelmingly voted to ban biological males from competing in women's sports. Mississippi's governor is expected to sign this into law. ABC reports that 25 states are considering similar bills compared to 18 last year. Alabama's Senate passed a bill that bans doctors from administering transgender treatments and surgeries for minors. It also compels school staff to share information with parents. Supporters say children are not ready to make such a life-altering decision at such a young age, and their health and well-being need to be protected. Alabama's ACLU indicated they will likely challenge this in court.